Welcome to Whole Fit Talks. This is a show just for you, someone who's taking ownership of their health, leading their life, and living their legacy. And I'm glad we found each other because I am another you. Thanks for being here. And now on to this week's episode. All right, I believe we're streaming over on Facebook, but it looks like the API, the connector with Facebook today is not the greatest. So that's okay because we're dual streaming over here on Instagram. I'm just going to pin a comment to the top of the wall. Yes, say hi as you guys are coming in. Hey, Sophie. Hey, Meg, Sarah. I've got about 70 over on Instagram so far. So great to have you guys. I'm just going to type a comment in that I'll pin for you. All right, welcome in. Hi, Facebook. If the connection isn't the greatest, there's been lots of challenges on Facebook this week. So if it's not so great, come over and join us on Instagram where we're good and strong over there. We have 111 of you over on Instagram. We have about 100 over on Facebook. I am so excited for you guys to hang out here for the next 45 minutes or so. So today, as I mentioned, I want to hop right in to respect your time. I mentioned this morning on Instagram that I wanted to hang out here today to talk about doTERRA and the business model and the opportunity that exists within that. So what I'm going to do is share for about 30 minutes with you, and then I will take your questions at the end. So if you're on Facebook, you can post them into the comments. On Instagram, you can actually, if you have a question as we're going, you can either save it till the end, or you can click the little question icon you should see at the very bottom, and that will actually submit your question. Just so you know, your name will show if I do share your question at the end to answer it. So this is the first time that I've done a business overview, we'll call it. I'm what the industry would likely label as a bit of a rogue leader, in that I'm one of the biggest leaders within this industry, but I've built very different than what the typical approach of, recruiting people into the business might look like. And instead, I took a position from the very beginning to focus on the customer and the experience that they have. And really what I found throughout that was that the rest took care of itself. And so I'm going to weave that into what I share with you guys today. And in the beginning, I gathered a few business partners at the very start, and we built this from the ground up, and we really maintained that lens of focusing on the customer. And of course, we had people that joined us along the way and were excited to build the business with us, but it was very much an empowered decision on their end, okay? So, I'm really excited to share this content with you because I've learned a lot over the years, and I do believe that doTERRA is one of the most robust opportunities out there today, especially within this space. So as you know, a huge part of my work is devoted to teaching you ways to taking great care of your body and your home so that you are strong and that you're ready for anything. I'm a huge believer in leading yourself from that space first, and then watch what happens next. You're given more from that place. I'm also an advocate for becoming financially independent because I believe that your leadership is impacted not only by your health, but by the freedom within your finances. And so if you're looking for a way right now to secure a more stable future for yourself and your family, and you're passionate about health and well-being, not only for yourself, but for helping other people in that arena, then you're in the right place. So I do want to back up real quick, and I'm just going to pull up the pin that I have over here on Instagram. You guys are welcome if you have another device. I will be basically taking you through the information I've prepared for you on that page, okay? Facebook, the connection's really choppy. So if you want to join us over on Instagram, we are nice and clear over here. We got full bars and full hearts, right? That's like my motto this week, because it's been very challenging to connect in the online space in these times we find ourselves in right now, right? So I do want to just backtrack for a couple of minutes and share with you a little bit about what it was like when I first started and how I found myself doing this work, okay? So I bought my first kit of doTERRA oils in 2013. And I very quickly dove into learning and applying and sharing along the way. Those are 3 words that you're going to notice I say several times as we go. Learning, applying, and sharing. It's literally that on repeat as you grow this entire business. But I did that in the beginning. I got my kit, and about 4 months later, I decided to teach my first essential oil class. I invited at that time all of my health coaching clients. So I was doing personal training, group training. Let me know if you're on here right now, if you were one of my clients back then. Holistic nutrition. So this was really the way WholeFit started, the brand. Those were a lot of my services at that time. And so when I had my first essential oil class, I invited, of course, all of my health coaching clients because they were hungry for this information. They were already invested in their personal health through their exercise, through their nutrition. They were taking responsibility in those areas. This was the natural next level because they were already at that place. And this was really the portal for them to coming into complete alignment in their health and well-being. What do I mean by that? For people who right now are investing in their health in some ways, right? Maybe they're focusing on eating cleaner in their home. Maybe they're getting some exercise in every day and they're drinking more water, but they're still very dependent on synthetic medication, let's say. There's a lack of alignment happening in the body. And so often what you'll find is the initial crew that are very drawn to doTERRA are going to be people who have already been taking some form of responsibility within their healthcare. Now, that's not true for everybody. Some people just come right to the oils. And what's really cool about that is they find that ends up being the portal that encourages them to look at these other areas of their life. They start to feel better in their body, so they naturally want to start exercising, like everything's connected. But that's where it started for me, you guys, is I see on here, hey, Jenny, actually both Jennys are on here. They were at my very first classes. I know we'll have probably a few more commenting because so many of them are building this business on our team now. That's what's really cool is those initial people that I worked with years ago ended up joining the work later on to do this. So one class led to another, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, if I think back to those first couple of years, I feel like, wow, I don't even know what was going on or how I even slept sometimes. But I went on to teach about 300 classes in the living rooms and basements and backyards of homes in those first couple of years. And this grew really fast. And I think that the reason that it was growing quickly, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to realize the same thing might happen for you, is I had already been working within that heart space for years of helping people, of sharing healthy living recipes as people were looking to cook more in their home, sharing workouts with people. Like there was already that genuine connection and trust there. So when I started teaching essential oil classes, people were hungry for that because we did already have that trust there. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have that. I'm just saying that be prepared as I go through this content today and you're thinking this is a good fit for you. That very same thing might happen for you if you've been in the space of helping people with their health and wellness for a while, okay? So within that time frame, those first 4 years, our WholeFit community grew really fast, really big. I became a Canadian founder within doTERRA, the first double diamond leader within Canada. And it was simply this cycle of learning and applying and teaching on repeat. We grew really quick. Today we are a community of close to 100,000 around the world. And that blows my mind. I mean, when I think about the ripple effect of what may seem like such a small thing, like one essential oil class, when I look at it now, 5, 6 years later, I'm blown away by what can happen. You don't realize sometimes how that one decision turns out to be one of the biggest decisions of your life, right? And I mean, I've met along the way so many incredible people. Many of them are on here right now, that wanted to partner and really do this together. And we get to do this work together today. And I'd love for you to meet them. If you go over to what I have pinned here on Instagram, wholefit.com/Nirvana, I've linked you up with a page that shows you some of the leaders on our team. And you guys, what's really powerful about this talk in this time is you'll go to that page and you'll see, I mean, this is just on my team. There are so many big, beautiful teams across doTERRA that have the very same thing going on. We have over 150 leaders that have created a residual income in the last few years that is now giving their family over $2,000 a month. Several of the leaders you'll see there have stepped big into their leadership and are now earning around $50,000 a month. This was because they made that decision to come into full alignment in their life and show up big in our world, okay? So I do want you to hop over because I think what you'll see is that you will notice you have a lot in common. None of us are any different than you. It's just we made the decision to show up in our own life, to take responsibility and in turn offer that to other people. So I'm incredibly grateful to share this content with you guys. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever done a business overview because I've always been very, very focused, hyper-focused on the customer experience. But I realize that we are in a time now where so many are seeking this, and it's the right thing to do. So I want to go through this content with you. So why doTERRA and why now, right? Perhaps the most obvious draw right now is that people in the time we find ourselves in right now are asking questions they haven't asked before. Questions about how they can be more prepared, more secure financially the next time our world shifts in the way it is right now. But also, more than ever before, we see that people are seeking a higher level of health and more time freedom and the opportunity to impact our world positively. So this is why doTERRA is such an attraction for people, because it meets all of those needs. So real quick, you guys probably all know doTERRA as the essential oil company, right? But as a company, I want you to understand how positioned they are. So they are a debt-free, privately owned, multi-billion-dollar company. This is super rare. Most companies that are in that financial position are public, which is another way of saying they are bought. B-O-U-G-T-H. B-O-U-G-H-T. Let's try that again. This is important because it means that doTERRA is able to make decisions that are proper, that are good, that are pure, that are moral. They are not having to satisfy Wall Street or shareholders in that sense. This is a really big deal. Not only that, but within the product landscape, they are the largest and most pure essential oil company in the world. And they are the biggest direct selling company in the US and soon to be Canada. So this is an interesting mix. And this is why you guys might want to lean in and really listen to this conversation today. Now, the doTERRA collective is over 8 million people around the world. That's how many people are using doTERRA. About 80% of those are customers. This is something I'm going to dig into a little more with you to help you understand how important that is. So this movement, you can understand, is really changing our world one drop at a time. I mean, as we use oils in our personal healthcare in our homes, it's changing our lives, but it's also changing lives on the other side of the bottle. When you go to the link that I've pinned there, the Nirvana page, I've shared with you 2 of my personal favorite videos that tell this story really well. Just the abundance that's created on both sides of the bottle, not only financially, but in health. So a big question a lot of you will have had at some point is why is doTERRA sold through the direct selling model? Direct selling is also known as multi-level marketing or network marketing. Those are all, common words that mean the same thing. This is a barrier for a lot of people because most people come into this topic with a story, okay? Whether you realize it or not, at some point in your life, I'm sure somebody has influenced you to believe a certain thing about this industry. And that's important to understand, is there's something there for most people. I was initially very closed off to it too. Okay, so I want to just share why. What was missing for me in the past was I was being approached quite often because I was in the health and wellness space, but I could sniff it, I could tell that what was being proposed to me was inauthentic. I could tell that the product wasn't actually solving anything for people, that it was more like a product that they were weaving a business opportunity in more strongly. There wasn't an actual product that worked. It was hype, right? Or maybe it was a product that kind of worked, but I could also go and buy it at Whole Foods. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of those products out there where it's like, this isn't really going to change the world. And so I'm not going to, park what I'm doing to be a part of this. That was really my feeling at the time. And this is so key, you guys, because what creates a lasting business model is that the product has to actually work. There's 3 things that are very important when you're looking at a direct selling opportunity. Number 1, the product has to be amazing. It has to be something that's actually changing lives and solving problems. And it has to be something that you personally are using, that you are a product of, okay? This is a really big deal. And again, that's another concept I'm going to weave through our talk today. The other thing, there's 2 other things that are really important. The people within that company. You want to look at what the leadership looks like at the very top. There are some good companies out there that have really rotten leadership at the top, okay? There's no integrity there, and unfortunately, you see that trickling down throughout the entire organization. And then the other thing you want to look at is the pay, right? Like, is this a legitimate business that's going to create financial freedom for you and the people that you work with? Or is this just a scheme? Is this something that you're going to join just to get rich quick and be on to the next thing? Or is this truly a legacy business? Is this the kind of business that is going to create wealth that you pass down to your children and your children's children? Though that would be a good reason to look at an opportunity. So what you need to understand is that within direct selling, what is simply happening is the marketing budget. It's so cool to have 250 of you on live on Instagram. I just want to say, hey, let's stay here in this space. We're going to really get into the meat. What is simply happening through direct selling, you guys, is a company decides that instead of focusing their marketing budget on typical marketing models, so whether you're talking about commercial advertising, radio advertising, billboards, TV, etc., they divert that to instead focus that marketing on people. Now, if you have a product that is incredible, you want to work it through people, because people are going to naturally talk about something if it works really well, okay? Of course, there are those products out there, you guys, that people are pumping as if they're the next, sliced bread, but they're not actually changing lives. And so that's what I mean when you see people who are hoppers. You see people who are constantly one month they're selling mascara, 1 month they're selling protein powder, 1 month they're selling lipstick. You know what I mean? They're constantly hopping because all they're looking for is something very self-serving. Yeah, they'll help a few people, feel a little better in the moment, but they're just working in this business model into a product that doesn't really change lives. So if a product is actually really great, it deserves the opportunity to be marketed through the direct selling model, because people, person to person connection trumps all the other type of marketing, right? So here's the truth, you guys. I've talked about this topic many times. I actually did a whole podcast episode a few years ago about the resistance that people feel around the network marketing industry, okay? But the truth is, most people don't understand this business model because they've grown up thinking that business has to be linear, that they are supposed to work in a 9 to 5 for 40 years of their life, and then the government's going to take care of them. I think we're all waking up to the reality that all of that does not exist anymore, okay? Now, people with big money issues are going to label this industry as a pyramid scheme. They're going to label you as being part of a predatory business model. They don't want to understand it because that would involve them having to let go of the stories that they've had this white knuckle grip on for so long. So you'll notice that people with really big money issues do not live or circulate in abundance. The sky is always falling for them. They don't tend to stand for anything, but instead what you'll see is they're always knocking something or someone. So I know all of you can think of at least one person in your circle who is this way. I hope none of you are putting that on somebody else. If so, then let's change that story. Let's really look at this, because this is a legitimate business model that moves through the power of people, the power of sharing, the power of trust. Okay? And in anything in our world, you're going to find people who are just trying to take you. Of course. That's within any business. But I just wanted to say that because this is the only way doTERRA could have moved, was through this person-to-person model. So be cautious, you guys, of anyone who's trying to hold you back for that reason. And I want to give you a real key way to know whether to pay attention to somebody who's attacking what you might be doing. If they are not living the life that you are trying to create or about to create, then they don't deserve space in your mind. They just don't. Don't go to people for advice that are not already living the life you're looking to create. Bottom line, real easy, like really easy. This is what the naysayers don't understand. When you open up the curtains and you look at their life, it's not very inspiring. There's not much happening there. They're not standing for much. They've got a lot of issues around money and trust and goodness in the world. They just and they're barfing that on you. So I wanted to just address that right off the hop, because you will absolutely, if you're looking at this as a business model, if you're building doTERRA as a business, I know you've all come up against this, or you will at some point. Okay, so back to the dilemma that I found myself in when I first came across doTERRA. I didn't know anyone personally in Canada that was building it at the time. So that trust wasn't there that is needed if you're looking at something like this. I think most of you were probably, if you're using doTERRA, it was probably a friend that shared it with you. And I was introduced to doTERRA by somebody I didn't know. And so it took me a little longer. I really had to develop that trust there because it didn't exist at the time. Okay. So and at that time I was using a lot of other essential oil brands. They weren't working. And I was really drawn to the values and transparency and sourcing methods that doTERRA had. It was really appealing to me. So I took a step forward. I bought the oils. And as I really dove in and started to go, I always call that time period in my life, like when I went underground and I was researching the company, like I really wanted to get clear, is this a business that I want to partner with? Because that is so important to me. What I'm going to be recommending to my clients, to my audience, like I'm very careful about that. So I poked a lot of holes in it. I really tried to see, find anything that could be wrong with this. And through and through, it didn't matter where I looked. I could sense a congruency in all the work that they were doing. So I felt really led to lead in this movement. And I also knew that this could be the type of opportunity that would allow me to create a large global community, which is something that was always on my heart that I wanted to do. I wanted to impact as many people as possible and really create a community where people were proud to be a part of it. That was a really big deal to me, and is to this day. So if we come back to this conversation around, one of the main reasons you would be looking at doTERRA as an opportunity right now is probably because you're thinking about your money situation. You might be using the oils and loving them, and you're thinking, could this be something I could integrate to be better secured in the future? And so the thing to understand about money is it's simply an exchange of energy. And within this model, you guys, you will be recognized abundantly for the good that you do and for the amount of impact that you have in lives. Money is simply impact in motion, right? I want you to think about it that way. And I mean, in our world, we understand money moves in a couple of different ways, right? So we all grew up understanding static or earned income, where you trade your time for money. That's the most common exchange on the planet, where you go to work or you do something and you're paid. The limitation there is you do it once and you earn once, right? So a lot of practitioners, dentists, doctors, chiropractors, like therapists, they're all very aware of this. There is no way for them to outsource what they do because they're it. They have to go to work in order to earn, right? So, and we all started off in a job like that, right? Like I'm sure we all worked our McDonald's, Starbucks kind of job at some point in the beginning where we traded time for money. Now, this whole other world we're talking about today is known as residual income. It's sometimes referred to as passive income. And I don't like that word as much because it almost suggests that you're just going to go sit on a beach, put your feet up and earn money passively. I like to think of this as residual income, where you do something once and you earn multiple times. You continue to earn. So it's leveraging your time, which is a very important thing. I do think that we all need to be thinking about having at least one residual income stream in our life. So even if, we have many, many, many people on our team, for example, that are full-time teachers or full-time nurses, you name it, every profession. And they've integrated doTERRA as a residual income stream, just in case we should ever find ourselves in a situation where we can't leave our homes. Residual income, you guys, we understand now more than ever, is very important. Now, there is one other way you can earn money, and that's through investment income, right? So investing your money, having a portfolio where your money's going into stocks and bonds and funds, that's feeling more risky than ever before, right? So we come back to this importance of residual income. And at the Nirvana page I've pinned there, I've put a couple of videos you should watch when you have some time. I would watch them with your partner, with your household, because it's important for everyone to understand options that are out there, okay? So I also have a section, I don't know if I want to go into complete detail on, but I've detailed for you on the website how you earn money in doTERRA. There's actually 5 different ways you'll earn money. There's retail commission. Like when you first start in doTERRA, you're given your own website. A very small portion of people you help get started with doTERRA will buy at full price retail. In fact, I discourage anybody from doing that because wholesale is so easy to do, but you can earn commissions that way. The majority of the way you'll earn money in doTERRA is through enrolling people, helping them purchase their own wholesale access. They get their own starter kit, they're off to the races, becoming healthier with each month, and you earn 20% commission off the initial sale of a kit, and then 2 months later, and again, I go into detail there. Then we get into what makes doTERRA very unique and what makes it a very long game earnings model is the fact that it's within unilevel commission. So over time, the bigger and the deeper your team grows, the more you earn. And this is actually reverse of almost every other direct selling company. Most direct selling companies want to get you in quick, get you making money because they know you're going to hop. And they don't have a business that's built for the long term. Their product isn't really built for lifelong use. So they would rather you earn some quick money right away because they know you're going to be doing something else in a couple of months or in a year. Whereas doTERRA is really established for this long game, right? So they've flipped that so that the deeper your roots grow as a leader, the deeper your team grows, the more you actually earn. And I share more about that there. What also makes this really good in doTERRA is doTERRA has the highest retention rate in the direct selling industry at around 67%, which means that because as you're enrolling customers, more customers in doTERRA continue to order than customers in other companies do. Okay, the rate, the average in other companies is between 10 to 15%, which means you're constantly needing to enroll people to have a business that stays stable. Not the case in doTERRA because it's such a high retention rate. So that's what makes that commission structure really appealing to people, is it's built for that long-term growth. And then there's some other bonuses you can read about there. I'm not going to go into detail right now because otherwise this will go 2 hours. But the model of doTERRA earning is simple, honestly. You succeed the more you help other people succeed. It's built for creating that culture and that community and that unity as a team. So it's really beautiful. You're not in competition with people. In many other companies, people feel like they're in competition with the people that they bring into their business. And that does not create a good culture at all. Whereas, so in doTERRA, your team's growth is your growth. So you're naturally, like, you're invested in helping people grow for that reason. So I've also put on that page, you guys, what the monthly earnings are by rank. So, I mentioned we have over 150 silvers and above on our team. So they're earning a minimum of around $2,000 a month. That goes all the way up to presidential diamonds, who earn over $100,000 a month. The reason I'm sharing this with you is that there is no cap. There is no limit on what you can create here. And this is very life-giving to most people when they're coming out of a situation, perhaps in corporate, where you're very aware of what the ceiling is. You're not, it doesn't matter how brilliant you are, how many great ideas you are, how hard you work, you can't go past a certain point. In fact, you can't earn beyond what your boss earns, and that doesn't exist in this world. You're completely unlimited. I hit presidential diamond and I started all over again. You could do that over and over and over again if you want to, okay? So you're completely unlimited here. Now I want to go through what a pathway might look like for people who start in doTERRA. So I would say most people need to start as a customer. I highly encourage you to start as a customer. You purchase your first kit of oils and you spend about 3 months, I would say minimum, learning about the oils, applying them, working on your own healing, working within your home, taking that step forward as an advocate for yourself and your family. Here's why I think that's so important. And I think I've shared with a few people on my team that I've probably done a bit of a disservice to our team when it comes to the business because I'm so protective of it. I don't like to see people start to do the business right away because I know how important it is that it's organic and authentic, and that as you begin this business, you have this foundation of personal experience and personal health and personal victories that you can with confidence share and offer other people. I think this is crucial. Now, of course, you can when you purchase your kit, if you want, you can, instead of choosing customer, you can sign up as a wellness advocate. I still don't think it's smart for you to start teaching classes right away. And you may hear different opinions out there on it. I'm going to just stick to that, you guys. I think it's so important that if you're going to grow this as a business, that it's something that you truly live and love, okay? So after you've established a few months of using your oils, learning about them and how to use them, and you've been applying them and having some great stories come through that, then you can upgrade your account to Wellness Advocate, and it's totally free to do that. So you can begin as a customer, you can upgrade to Wellness Advocate, but don't upgrade your account to Wellness Advocate until you're ready to start teaching, ready to have that first class like that week, okay? So you can wait until you're ready, and you'd want to discuss this perhaps with the person that you've enrolled with. If you're a customer listening to this right now, figure out when you're ready to start teaching. When you're ready to start teaching, though, it's not just going to be that one class that you teach. you're going to be in it for real. You want to really kickstart your business. So you're going to teach one class a week for 3 months. Okay? You're going to really show up for people. You're not going to be a dabbler. And P.S., your business isn't going to grow if you teach a class and then you don't teach another class 2 months from then. It just won't. You can't be sporadic in this when you're really starting something. So you need to have a season where you're teaching every week, I would say for 3 months, where you really launch your business, okay? And you won't do that and you won't upgrade your account to Wellness Advocate until you're ready to do that, okay? Now, from there, you guys, when it comes to teaching classes and really launching your business, you're going to be given everything you need. In fact, I don't know if there's another business as set up as doTERRA is for you to have access to everything you need to build this business. I'm not kidding. It doesn't matter what team you're on, you're going to have access to all the tools you need to build this. All of them. Now, I go into some detail of what we offer on our Whole Fit team, but guys, I want to be real with you because I don't want any of you to feel like you're at some sort of a disadvantage if you're on a different team. You're not. doTERRA has everything you need to grow. Like, you'll be given your website. You'll be given simple links to enroll people that have your enrolling ID built into them. You'll be given a library of resources to build as you grow. I mean, you've got it all going for you. I'm serious. Now, when it comes to sharing the oils, I wanted to touch on this because some of you might have questions about what that looks like. And again, I've detailed this a little more than what I'll go into here. But basically, the best practice is that when you're going through your 3 months of learning about the oils for the first time and applying them, you'll want to treat that as a time where you're documenting a lot of your experiences, opening up and sharing with people as you learn. That's a really smart way for you to build that connection with people so that when you're ready to start teaching, they're excited to come learn more. It's best to sample people, to give them a sample of the oils before they come to class, because that way they're going to really understand the doTERRA difference. So I go into a little more detail here, but basically, person-to-person sharing, meeting people at Starbucks for a quick oils session, sharing on social media, your blog or your website. So you'll be given, like doTERRA, I actually linked this up for you. They have a free social media course for you. I'm telling you, you'll get it all. Where you'll learn the best ways to share online. You can create custom carts for people. I do this all the time. If you've hopped over to my Supernatural Recipe Guide landing page, you'll see I made a Supernatural starter kit there. Really easy to do. You'll teach eventually in-person classes. That's how we like to teach. But right now we've shifted everything online. And in fact, many of you joining the doTERRA business right now won't know any different. You'll just start teaching online using Facebook Live or Instagram or Zoom classes. We give you everything you need. You'll have slide decks, you'll have teaching sheets. And then of course, teaching in person once we're able to again, you can teach in libraries or chiropractors' offices or wellness studios. I wanted to end with this. Some of you might be wondering if you would do well in this work, and then I'll take 10 minutes of questions. If you guys want to post your questions into the question box, just click that little icon at the bottom. And this is being recorded. I should have let you know that. I'll upload this to YouTube after. So who does well in doTERRA? I would say people who have a respect for nature, a reverence for nature, perhaps now more than ever, understanding that nature knows things that the lab doesn't. I'm going to start there. People who are helpers do well in doTERRA. People who have a heart for helping people become healthier. People who want to create community for people do well. Resourceful people do well, really well. They're willing to learn the new way. They're not stuck in the old. They're willing to learn, okay? That's a key thing in doing well here. People within the health and wellness space, I shared my own story with you. You're going to do well because you've already been sharing within that focus, okay? People with a hunger to be part of a positive change that is changing the world. People who are willing to dream bigger than perhaps the people in their social circle will do really well. People who are very interested in building a business that fits their life by design. If you're somebody not wanting to go punch in and punch out on someone else's dreams, you're going to do well here, okay? Not saying it's for everybody. Some people like that safety. People who care more about leading than what their Uncle Tom might think of it. It's my favorite thing to say. You've heard me say it before. You have to care more about leading and standing up for something than what people who aren't think of it. It's a really big deal. You'll do well in doTERRA if that's you. Who won't do well in doTERRA? Well, the get rich quickers, okay? The people just looking for something very self-serving. The hoppers, they don't do well. The people who come in and think they're just going to make quick cash and be on to the next thing. I mean, that was always their goal, so they're in and they're out. And you can tell by their energy that they're not in, okay? This is why, again, I think you need to start as a customer and really understand if your love for this form of healthcare is there. And the last, would be people who have a greater mind share focused on themselves and how they can get ahead. In this space, in the doTERRA business, the more that you give, the more you grow. Period. End of story. Always. Okay? So, you guys, if you're listening to this and you have interest in this, and I love that so many of you are on this live. I know many of you will catch the recording. Connect back with the person that let you know about this. Like if somebody's been sharing doTERRA with you, whether you're a customer, already enrolled, you've got somebody who helped you to that point, they can help you start your business. If you are listening to this and you haven't started using the oils yet, choose your kit. It's the entry into this whole world, okay? So choose your kit. I can help you, or the person that invited you here will help you. I've got that info on the page there, but I want to hop over to your questions now because we'll run out of time. We only get an hour over here on Instagram. So I'm so grateful to have you guys here for this time. Hey, Lil Natural Girl said, if you were going to start your business today in what is happening around the world, what would you focus on? What would your approach be at classes? I would be focusing on my true authentic story, things that have been working for me that have led me to a place of being able to be confident at a time like this. That's what I would be sharing because that's what people are seeking. They're looking for the real leaders and teachers right now. What you'll notice right now is that everyone who's been faking it, posturing, putting fancy things in their bio that aren't true, they're like quiet. You know why? Because they're filled with panic and fear because they haven't been living it all along, okay? So show up for people. You're gonna need to, if you haven't learned how to connect in the online space, that is your work right now. You need to learn how to pivot fast to the online space. That is a skill you're gonna need to learn, and it's going to serve you for a long, long time. You needed to do it at some point, so you might as well do it now. How do you create the custom kits with links for people? So link generator. Your upline will help you. If you're on our team, go to our Facebook group. We have it saved in a unit. We have a video there that shows you exactly how to do it. It's super easy. You just build a kit or you choose a doTERRA kit. It links your ID to it. So you send it to somebody. Let's say you post an Instagram and you want a link direct to a kit you talk about. You do it there. Somebody clicks it, bada boom, bada bing, done. It's like 2 seconds and they're at the purchase screen. Let me check out the question queue here. When you talk about consistency versus dabbling, can you please share an example of slow rollout of this? Oh, your question got cut off. Sorry, maybe you can post it into the comments. A lot of you are leaving really long questions and it's not showing the full question. Let me find, where do you suggest we share? Share wherever you're showing up most consistently. If you're a blogger, start writing more blog. I love blogging, by the way. I started blogging 11 years ago and I'm back at it and loving it more than ever. So I'm just sharing that as an example, but whatever your fancy is, if you love live audio, if you love podcasting, start sharing that way. It doesn't matter. Just stay consistent is really the key. Consistency is everything. Okay, I'm going to hop back in because the other questions are too long to post. How would you invite someone to the business or share more about the business opportunity with people right now? Do what I'm doing. Your current customers, for example, offer them the chance to come into the Zoom room with you and learn. Just share, you can even, if you want to, go to that page I've shared with you here, wholefit.com/Nirvana. You can grab content from there. You could even have it up on your screen and take them through it. Remember, this business is simple. It's just often the perception of it is that it's really involved or that people think they can't do it. Remember, this whole business is built on your experiences, the context of your experience. It does not matter whether you know a single thing about aromatherapy. If you've had experiences where the oils have worked for you, that is the only thing your customer cares about on the other side. They want to know this works. They want to know that you have something that could potentially work for them. You can find the answers to any questions that you don't have the answer to, and you don't need to know it all. In fact, it's better to start at about 80%. Okay? That's why that first 3-month block or so is so important. Gina, Elena, sister for life, love her. How would you invite someone to the, oh, that's the one I just answered. What are your thoughts on using alternative social media channels like TikTok or Snapchat? I have a really bad vibe on TikTok, to be honest. I don't like it. I think there's just way too much exposure of kids on there. I could be wrong. Anyway, Snapchat is like, I don't know, like it seems like people use it just for the filters. Honestly, use whatever you think your people are going to be. That's really the key. Your audience, wherever they're hanging out, probably it's where you're hanging out, hopefully, then that's, where you want to stick. What oils do you sample? Okay, so I actually think it's better to sample to health concerns. So if you guys want to have a look at what I do, just don't fill in the form, because then you're all going to come into my inbox and I'll think you're, wanting samples. You can go to wholefit.com/sample request. You can see my process. If you go over to /sample usage, you'll see the samples. I don't just offer samples, I offer samples based on what their health concern is. But I would say the top oils for samples are the blends, so like Digest Zen or Zengest in Canada, On Guard, Breathe or Easy Air, Deep Blue, Peppermint, Wild Orange. Those are probably the top ones. I'm just going to take questions about the business today, guys, just because we're running out of time here. What are your favorite resources to learn about sharing in the online space? I would go to that social media course I linked up on this page for you that doTERRA created. That's a really good start. But a lot of it, you guys, is you've got to just get in there and do it. And then you learn. Like, you've got to flop. You flop and learn. That's what you do. So, Zoom, I want to just share something with you. Zoom is an online classroom. We all should have invested in Zoom 2 weeks ago, okay? Because now it's like the way that the world is connecting. But I would get to know Zoom. So you can go to their page, you can learn, there's like 1-minute video tutorials that teach you how to use it. I would just think, like, what is an area of your online business that you need to skill up in now? And hit it. This is the week to do it. You guys are so welcome. I'm so happy so many of you were able to join live. The samples. You know what, you guys? I will upload this to YouTube and I will cover off any of the links that I mentioned. I'll just write myself a quick note. Social. Flop and learn, baby. Any other questions? We have 2 minutes left together before we lose each other. Facebook, I have heavily ignored you because I think it was just so choppy for a while there. But I'll come back into the comments after and see how we went over there. Great question. Do I approach people about the business 3 months later as a follow-up? Yeah, so I'm just finalizing this. We've had an existing email series on the team. This might be something you guys, if you are leading a team, you want to work on right now. A weekly email that went out for 3 months to everyone who enrolls. Like, you as the enroller would add them to this. And then the very last email was an invitation for them to come learn about the business. So that was timed appropriately at the end of the 3-month period where they could learn about the business and then you kind of take it from there. I think, if you're enrolling a lot of people, that can be tough to stay on top of. So having something like an automated email series that goes every week for 3 months can be really helpful in that process. And then adding people to a Facebook group if you have it, because they'll slowly get dripped content. But yeah, if you can, check in with them. I think it's great just to check in at that 3-month mark, see how they're liking their oils, see if they have any questions, if they want a quick call, you could offer that. It all depends on what you have existing as a resource. If you haven't invested a lot of time yet in creating an engine like a Facebook community group or a website where resources are, then you're going to be doing a lot more of that phone calling in the beginning until you get that established. Yeah, I could upload this to the podcast. Sure. Yeah. How much time and energy do you put towards builders? I would say like 10%. I invest, again, 90% of my focus within my business is on the customer, because this business is simple. People get in their own way all the time, but that's not my job to help them unlock their stories that way. They've got to do that work. They've got to get out there. They've got to get in the arena. They've got to be helping people. That's the only reason somebody wouldn't be growing. Okay, lots of questions coming in. I'm trying to see what I can answer before we lose each other. Do you have to do online classes? I've always done in person. Well, you do right now at the time of this recording. I would say use this time to learn the online landscape, because you will need to learn it eventually. You do. You will need to learn it eventually. It's just the way the world has been moving and is moving, and this is a good time for you to skill up in that area. On what platform do I make the sample survey? I made that right within Squarespace, which is the platform my website is built in, but use Google Forms. They're free. What is consistency? Every day, every week? From your experience, you create so much content. What an impactful yet slow rollout of this business. Okay, here's my best tip. If you only have, let's say, an hour a day, what I recommend you do is that you focus that hour towards one theme within your business each day. So one day is a preparing day. One day is an inviting day. One day is a presenting day or teaching day. One day is an enrolling day. One day is a support day where you focus on your team and just roll it out that way. As you get more time, freedom, you can dedicate a little more time to your business. But even if you just started that way, where you got hyper focused when you sat down to do work, your business will grow. How do you suggest connecting with those who have fallen away or not ordered for a while? Yeah, I don't know if you do any kind of email connecting or even just simple like a text, like, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? Do you have any questions? Are there any oils you've ordered that you don't know how to use? Simple, like think of questions that can create that connection. And maybe they want to hop on a call. Maybe they enrolled with you a couple years ago and they never really got going. We're seeing a lot of that happen. You guys, in this last month of chaos, we had like one of our biggest months as a team. So many people re-engaging, like realizing, it's time to put their oils to work, right? So you probably have a lot of people right now that are like, I bought this bottle of On Guard a few years ago, or I bought this bottle of oregano. I have no idea what to do with it. This would be a really great time for you to connect in and offer some lifestyle overviews, or even do a group one on Zoom. Yeah, you're welcome. I think I have a few bonus minutes because I started late over here. I forgot about that. So we can keep going just for a couple minutes. If you have anything, I'll scroll back up. Ooh, a lot of talking on this one. My girl never reaches out to me ever, so I didn't renew my membership, but love the product. That happens. Yeah. You know what? I think that we may see a lot more people drawn to the business this year because of the what appears to be recession that's coming. And I think that's what happened in the beginning. To be honest, with doTERRA, there were a lot of people who joined the business that really weren't in it for the right reasons, unfortunately. And you know, that happens. But I think that there's enough of us now talking very honestly and openly, and sharing this work and showing up, that even if you enrolled with somebody who's just not there anymore, you can plug in. Like, you know, there's just so many of us that are in the online space just sharing openly. So you can plug into what we do. I feel like we got free bonus minutes right now. I'll take one more question. Oh man, I see a lot of questions over on Facebook and I haven't been paying attention. Okay, I'm going to take Casey's question from Facebook. I think she's over here too. How do I know if I need to rebrand? People have a hard time finding Rockin' It with Oils. I feel like I need to fix my name. I tried to be cute and now I feel like it needs to be spelled correctly. Yeah, if you have goals to go big, then, which I know you do, fix it now. Fix it so that it's not something that every time you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's bugging me so much. Like when you cut your bangs that one time, right? Fix it. You can't fix bangs, but you can fix a brand name. So yeah, I would change that sooner than later. Or you just go full speed ahead and people, listen, everyone thought my name was Holly when I first started WholeFit until I breathed the life into the brand, okay? So everybody doesn't need to understand the vision, but if you do have a brand name that's too long or something that's too generic, like too many people have a similar thing, then I would really sit with that. What I did when I became clear that this was all to be WholeFit was I was on a flight home with an empty notebook and I was just scribbling lots of words and I created my logo at that time on that flight and I wrote all these words down that meant something to me and mashed them together. And I knew that WholeFit, I wanted it to be bump, bump. I knew it had to be like strong and short. And I also knew it needed to be something that wasn't totally obvious right away what it was. And I love the word fit, being fit for life. Like, I'm just saying this because you want to sit with what's really important to you and just work on what does that look and feel and taste and what's the experience of your brand, and fix it sooner than later. Don't wait too long to do that. Okay, I'm going to end it here. I will upload this. You guys can go to wholefit.com/nirvana for all the content I just shared with you. If you're listening to this and you don't yet have oils and you want to look at this as a business integration this year, get started. Get your kit of oils. Learn, apply, share, repeat. That's what you do. That's what this business is. This business will be the greatest blessing in your life if you commit to that and if you commit to helping other people. The more you give, the more you grow, period. End of story. Always been, always will be the way in doTERRA. And you will be well taken care of. The most important thing to understand about this business is that if you are going to have impact in our world, if you have a feeling you are a leader, if you have a burning or something you want to impact, you need to be free. It's difficult to do that if you are bound in a body that is in a lower state of health. It's difficult to do that if you are bound by debt financially. Your impact is restricted. You need to be free, and doTERRA will do that for you. You will become free. You will become the healthiest you've ever been. You will never worry about money again. All of that, of course, so that you can show up big in our world and can impact many, many people along the way. That's why you'll be free, okay? There's very good people with a lot of money in doTERRA, and it makes me very excited and hopeful for the world that we are all creating together right now. Things are becoming unorganized very quickly in the best way possible. So I'm going to end that there. Thank you guys for joining. I do hope this was helpful. Again, I've never done a session like this, but I wanted to really get this info out there because I know so many of you are looking at opportunities out there, and I wanted to keep this a conversation where it wasn't just about doTERRA, but it really helps you think critically about any opportunity you may have in front of you right now. So anyway, keep well, you guys, keep safe, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye for now.
Hey, you made it to the end. If you're not sick of me yet and you want to find other episodes and show notes, you can go to wholefit.com/podcast. If you do love the show, I would be so grateful if you take a moment to share it out with your community and leave a review over on iTunes so that more people can find the show. Until next time.